This video is a long time coming. I've been aware that the Earth is flat and stationary and enclosed for about 3 years now, but what's prompted me to do this video now is really in response to a couple of high-profile flat Earth videos that have been released that really are doing the topic a disservice. The videos are behind the curve and to the edge and back, and so those videos are clearly disinformation hit pieces designed to discredit the topic of flat Earth, to discredit flat earthers, and basically discourage anyone from looking into it further. And so it just felt like now was a good time to tell my story. And so it begins about 3 years ago. It was January of 2016 to be exact, and I've always been a fan of YouTube, and I love getting my news from YouTube and entertainment, and also researching various topics and looking into conspiracy theories and pretty much anything under the sun. I'll at least entertain it because I love to learn, and it's a good place to do it. And so at that time I stumbled upon a video by the rapper and musician B.O.B. who was discussing human cloning. He was talking about how he thought maybe his record company was cloning the artists, including himself, to have like backup copies of the various artists, and he was really going down that rabbit hole. And I actually do believe human cloning does exist. But anyway, so he was really going into detail about that topic, and I ended up going on his Twitter feed to take a look at what else he was up to, and that's where I saw that he was a flat earther. And I couldn't believe it. My first reaction was, oh no, why, you're going to discredit yourself. But then I noticed that the astrophysicist Neil deGrasse Tyson was actually responding to him, and that B.O.B. had made a rap song kind of calling Neil deGrasse Tyson a liar and calling him a NASA shill and saying that the Earth was really flat. And Neil deGrasse Tyson actually responded, and I couldn't believe that. I'm like, why are you even giving this the time of day? I mean, he had his nephew create a response rap song, so like there was this flat Earth rap battle going on. And honestly, that's what really got my attention, that Neil deGrasse Tyson was being so public about refuting this. It was like, a light bulb went off, that there must be something to this, so I better look into it. So I did, and like so many other people, I just completely jumped down the rabbit hole and ended up watching probably 100 or so flat Earth videos over the next few weeks. And by the end of it, long story short, I came to the conclusion, I couldn't come to any other conclusion than that the Earth was flat. And so the main proof for me is the lack of curvature where there should be. So on an 8,000 mile diameter sphere, there should be, or the formula for curvature is 8 inches per mile squared. And so I started to see images of landmarks and city skylines that were visible when they shouldn't be. For example, the New York City skyline is visible from 60 miles away from many different points. People have photographed it, and also the same with the Statue of Liberty. That has been photographed and spotted from 60 miles away, and at 60 miles away there should be 2,400 feet of curvature. That's almost a half a mile of curvature on a supposed 8,000 mile diameter sphere that is just not there. Another example is the Chicago skyline has been seen and photographed from across Lake Michigan, 60 miles away, and once again there should be a half mile or close to it of curvature that just isn't there. The Philadelphia skyline has been seen and photographed from 40 miles away, and that's 1,000 feet of missing curvature. Here, I live in Hawaii, and so I'm on the island of Maui, but over to the west of me are the islands of Kauai and Oahu. And people have reported being able to see the island of Kauai from Oahu on a clear day. And so for 90 miles, there should be 1 mile of curvature blocking that. And even if you adjust things for elevation, there still should be, some obscuring of the view. The people that are seeing this are close to the shoreline. There might be a little elevation, but you should not be able to see at that distance. There should be curvature if we are on a sphere. And so I've just given like 4 or 5 examples, and there are countless more of lighthouses, of mountains, of more city skylines that just should not be visible over vast distances, and that all adds up to that the Earth is flat. Another proof of the flat Earth to me are electromagnetic railguns. These are specialized guns used by the military that can shoot a target up to 200 miles away. And now the formula for curvature calculated for that distance for 200 miles should yield 5 miles of curvature. So there's no way that gun should work. And so again, that's a smoking gun for me. When the rail gun that shoots 200 miles away can function, that means there's no curvature to be found. And some people try to argue that gravity or refraction or some nonsense that's pulling the bullet downward over the curve. I mean, bullets out of railguns are traveling 2,500 miles a second, so that is not curving at all. That's going straight. And so yeah, those items to me and more like them prove the flatness of the Earth. And as far as the Earth being stationary, the proof of that to me is the stars above us. So the space agencies tell us that Earth is rotating at 1,000 miles an hour, that it's revolving around the sun at 66,000 miles an hour, that the entire solar system is spinning around the Milky Way at 500,000 miles an hour, 500,000 miles an hour. Those stars should look different every night if the Earth is moving that way. I mean, come on. Meanwhile, the constellations never change. There's evidence from texts out of ancient Sumeria that from 10,000 years ago that the constellations looked the same back then. So they're not changing. And to me, that indicates nothing else but the Earth is not moving. Certainly the sky above us is rotating around us, but the action of that is more like a planetarium, and the sky is revolving around us. The Earth itself is stationary, and that proves geocentrism. And lastly, the evidence for me of a firmament dome above us is rainbows, because rainbows require a reflective surface, and the shape of a rainbow perfectly mirrors the arc of the firmament dome. You can make a rainbow artificially, but you always need a mirror or a piece of glass in order to do it, and the rainbow takes on the shape of the reflective surface, so it ends up being a straight line. So to me, that substantiates the dome above us. And you know, some people who still believe the globe lie point to NASA as their proof, and the photos and videos that come out of NASA as proof of the globe. And to that, I would respond that NASA themselves actually say that they use Photoshop to create their images. They use a lot of CGI. And if you look at the images of the globe that they've put out over the years, there are serious anomalies and inconsistencies in them. There are digital anomalies in terms of the photoshopping, and also the Earth, the continents are depicted differently. You know, in one image, you know, North America will be a certain size, and then another image over, it's, you know, 2/3 smaller, or 1/3 this, you know, 2/3 the size. And so you put those images side by side, and you can tell it's a creative endeavor. It's made by an artist. It's not a photograph. That is not proof of a round spherical Earth. Logical question after all of this is, why the lie? Why the big colossal lie hiding the true nature of this world? And I've thought a lot about that, and what I've come to believe that it's about power, money, and control. Unfortunately, there is a cabal in this world who are intent on ruling this world by force, financially and otherwise, and they have infiltrated pretty much every country and institution in this world. They are within our own country, in the fake news propaganda media, in our own FBI and DOJ, and their ultimate goal is control of all countries and ultimately the world. And what better way to exercise control over a population than by concealing where it is we really live. And this group, one of their methods is controlling information, and wouldn't that be the ultimate thing to control? Just what the actual nature of this world really is. And so I think it comes from that. And this deep state in our country was behind the formation of NASA decades ago, which I believe was formed to fake space and thereby substantiate the globe deception. And also there's a lot of money apparently in faking space. NASA's current budget is $21 billion a year. That's $65 million a day. And so I'm guessing that some of that money, or most of it, is making it into the deep state's pockets in one way or another. And so there's tremendous motivation to deceive regarding the nature of this world if there is a group that wants to control the world. And there's a bunch of fake science and speculative science that goes along with the globe model, including the Big Bang and evolution. And basically, you know, coming out of that is that there's no creator. There is no God. And by extension, that promotes atheism and hides the idea that we have an immortal soul. That, you know, if you think there is no God and it's one and you're done and this lifetime is all there is, it becomes a very fear-based world. It brings out negativity in people, survival fears and competition, and opens us up to just really being ruled by our egos. Whereas when we know the truth, that we are an immortal soul having a human experience, that opens us up to our own power. It's very empowering. And I believe this cabal, that's the last thing they want. They don't want to see us empowered, so they hide the nature of the world to always keep us a little off balance and disoriented. Something is not quite right. We can't put our finger on it. And also we start to doubt who and what we really are, when the truth is we are immortal souls having a human experience. But if we believe we are finite human beings, we are far more prone to egoic reactions and fear-based reactions. And so this cabal is satanic in nature. They worship Satan. And if you're following the QAnon information, you know a lot more about that and their methods and their agendas. And so they're not looking out for us. And they were really sold a bill of goods by Satan and his minions. And they practice a philosophy of do what thou wilt, which means they think they can do whatever they want with no karmic consequences. But as I said in my last video about near-death experiences, thousands of near-death experiencers report that karma is real, that the most important energy we can aspire to here in this lifetime is love, and knowing that we are all interconnected, and that's been proven by quantum physics, and just viscerally knowing that to hurt another is to hurt ourselves, and that we should treat others as we wish to be treated. You know, those are the main messages that come out of the near-death experience. And this cabal is living in quite the opposite way. They're living the way Satan wants them to live, to keep us all in a lower vibration, to control us. And these archons and demons basically take in our negative emotions as food. So the more depraved we can be, the better it is for the archons. And so it is my prayer and my hope that this cabal and this deep state will reawaken to their true nature as an immortal soul, as a being who is loved by God, and return home to God. And that is the destiny of all souls, but I think it can happen a lot faster than it would otherwise if we all just focus on that and ask God for help and restore universal law in this world. And do what thou wilt is a myth. That is no way to live. There are karmic consequences to that. And once we all return to and align with the energy of our immortal souls, so much more is possible. Even what you might call like superhuman abilities can be brought out through our souls, including telepathy, telekinesis, psychokinesis, remote viewing, healing of self and others, anti-aging effects, promoting longevity, and so much more. And when we know that the real us is an immortal soul, we can start to embody that energy within our bodies and transform the human experience in profound ways. And once all of us get back on solid ground of knowing that we are immortal beings, having a temporary human experience within an elegantly designed earthly realm, created for us by a loving God, then we can really take this world and the human experiences to places it's never been before. This truly is a great awakening going on right now on many fronts, and some of it's kind of bumpy and turbulent, but I know that it's going to some really, really good places. So hang in there and keep seeking truth, and thanks for listening. I'll see you on the next video.